Hey guys, I arrived in the last city that I'm going to visit in Albania. Is the city of Shkoder that lies in an amazing landscape with an exquisite fortress on top of this hill, Rozafa castle or Rozafa fortress. In the distance you can see the Albanian Alps, or the Dinaric Alps is the end of Dinaric Alps. Over there in the north, after this first line of mountains is the national park Teth and Valbone Valley, where are the highest, one of the highest mountains in Albania, and which I visited last year in the end of the last months of 2017. Now we are in the first days of June 2018, and I'm standing on a hill from where I can see the entire city of Shkoder. To its west side is the biggest lake from southern Europe, and it's named after the city, Shkoder. It belongs to Albania and Montenegro. The border splits the lake in half. Also, those small islets over there in the distance belongs to Montenegro. It's a marshland, but here on the outflow of the lake into the Buna river that is running on the west side of the city. It flows all the way here to the south of the fortress, where it joins Drin river that comes from the east. But Drin river, it's also joining Kir river that is coming on the east side of the city. And if you follow that white stripe, you can see that it's going all the way towards the Albanian Alps. So that's the place where Kir river starts to flow all the way here, and where all these rivers are meeting continues as Buna river towards the Adriatic Sea, and somewhere a few kilometers downstream it represents also the Albanian Montenegro border. This place was inhabited since the Illyrian tribes. They were the ones who put the first stone on this fortress. At the base of the fortress you can still see the Cyclopean walls. They are not named like this due to their large boulders, but because of their fine cuts in order to fit together. But this fortress, after it was built by the Illyrians in the 2nd century, the Romans conquered it. And what we see today, it's mainly the work of the Venetians, who took it in 1396, and they built what we see today over there. The entrance is on the north side, so over there, and you will enter into a first courtyard. And from the first courtyard through a gate, you'll enter into the second courtyard, which occupies the central part of the hill. Also over there you'll see the ruins of an old cathedral that later, during the Ottomans, it was transformed in a mosque. You can see the ruins of a minaret over there. And from the second courtyard through that gate, you'll enter in the third courtyard, where you're going to see also a 3-story Venetian building that today hosts Rozafa Castle Museum. It's a beautiful view from up there, all over this valley. And it's open to the public. So as I said, Venetians were the ones who built it in this shape. But less than 100 years later, in 1478, 1479, the first huge siege of the Ottomans finished by conquering this area. And last and second and last big siege of this fortress was in 1912, when the Ottomans were defeated by Montenegro. The city center of Shkoder is considered to be where the dome of the mosque is visible. I'm not sure if I'm focusing correctly. Over there, yeah, over there next to the mosque, there is also a Franciscan cathedral and also an Orthodox cathedral somewhere behind the mosque. And on the right side is the Franciscan cathedral. It's a beautiful city, actually. Definitely worth coming here and visiting this amazing place. There is also a beautiful legend regarding the construction of this fortress. It's a legend that you're going to find it in all the countries of the Balkans. It says the same story. There's an anonymous author, and it was transmitted orally in every nation. Each country has its own version, but you're going to find it also in Greece at the construction of Arta Bridge. You'll find it also in Bulgaria, in Bosnia, in Romania, and also here in Albania for the construction of this fortress. It says mainly about the need of a human sacrifice in order to build an amazing building. So the Albanian, I'm going to tell you the Albanian version and Romanian one. The Albanian one says that there were three brothers. They were commissioned to build a castle here, and all what they were constructing during the day will crumble during the night. So the eldest brother met at one point an old man who shared with him the secret to have a solid structure. He said that they have to build inside the walls a really dear person to them. So the brother went to his brothers and shared with them the story, and they all decided that the next day the first wife that will come to bring food to them, she's going to be the one built inside the walls. Well, only the little one didn't share this story with his wife, and that's why his wife was the one who came eventually on the next day to bring food to the workers. She had also a little child, but she came alone. So at first they told her what is needed to be done. She agreed, but she had some requests. Because she had a little boy, she said, let my right eye open so I can still see my son until I'm going to be dead. Let my right hand free so I can still caress my son. Let one of my breasts free in order to still feed him, and let one foot outside in order to rock his cradle. So that was the way on which the castle of Rozafa was built, and the legend still continues here. The Romanian one, it's a little bit more interesting. It starts with the Wallachian ruler that commissioned Mason Manole, also the legend or the ballad. It's called Mason Manole. The Wallachian ruler hired Mason Manole and his 9 men to build the most famous, beautiful and highest cathedral in Wallachia, Curtea de Argeș. And they had the same problem. All what they were building during the night, in the next day they will find it on the ground. So Manole had a dream, and in this dream he found out that the only way to build that cathedral was to build inside the walls a very dear person. So also he was the one who shared the story with his men, and all agree that the first wife who will come is going to be the one. In the next day, looking into the distance, Manolo saw his wife Anna coming, and he started praying to God for a huge rain with storm and thunders. And God granted this wish, but Anna loved so much his husband that she passed through the storm, and finally she arrived at the construction site. He had no choice. He had no choice to do something else, but only to start building Anna inside the walls. At first they said it was a game, but then Anna realized what's happening. And finally the construction was built. But this is not the end of the story. The story continues in Romanian version, because the Wallachian ruler came and he was astonished about the beauty of this cathedral, Curtea de Argeș, and he asked the workers if they can build a more beautiful and bigger cathedral. And the workers replied that they can't do that. So he decided to desert them up on the roof of the cathedral, so they could never build something that will match this one. They started to build wooden wings, and they tried to fly from the roof of the cathedral, but one by one fell down, and one by one died. That's the motive of Pegasus. And it is said that where Manole fell, a clear well and a water clear well is also today over there. So you can also visit this Curtea de Argeș monastery in Romania, in Argeș County. So this is the story and the legend of the human sacrifice needed to build an astonishing building. And this is the city of Shkoder, a beautiful northern Albanian area. And I have only one mention to make before I'm going to leave Albania towards Montenegro, is the fact that making the tour of this country, I realized that the name Albania, it's only for international usage. There is nothing in Albania connected with, let's say, buildings belonging to the state or official buildings where you can see the name of Albania. Until the 17th century, Albanians called their country Arbari or Arbaresh. But after 17th century, they started to use the term Shqiperia. And today this is also the name that they are using for their country and inside their own country for all the official places. Shqiperia. So this is the beautiful area of Shkoder with amazing landscapes fortress with an interesting legend. I'll see you next time.